Hello there, kitties. I'm Kari, your typewriter witch. Yeah, that Selectric is gonna be quite a challenge. How are you tonight? Because I've got some distortion and some noise on my audio output. Feeling pretty sick, but not that weak, but I got cold, and yet I've got a job interview tomorrow and another one on Tuesday. This is gonna be alright. Oh, the kitty. I guess that the cat is somewhere around, wondering how he will behave. Your type of girl. Yeah, admitted that you're attracted to technically advanced trans women, right? Yeah, Mouse, thank you. Nice to see you, by the way. It's been a long time since I saw you. Yeah. Dreadlergy? What is that? Yeah, Chipmunk and Mouse, we know each other from Big Clive's community, right? Of course. Yeah, attracted to anyone technical. That would be a good way of stating that. Yeah, busy doing projects, looking for jobs, like I'm applying for a electronic engineer position in two companies, and wonder if I'm gonna make it both to and through the job. My experiences with holding jobs in businesses are not that good. Largy is an English slang for illness. Yeah, I guess that comes from allergy, right? Good show. Interesting. Oh yeah, Maurice. I took a look at the Electron launch show, the stream. It's put on hold, but it would be the first launch of Rocket Lab. So it's always some progress from some change for the better, so that NASA and SpaceX no longer have the monopoly for launching anything into space. And that's a good thing. I hope that technologically they are gonna develop nicely, and well, maybe Rocket Lab will be quite a good competition for SpaceX. Maybe if Elon Musk's toxic management style annoys too many people, then they will just leave for Rocket Lab and yeah, let that sink in. Let Musk sink. Every time, everywhere. Yeah, entered the popular slang. Yeah, a bit windy. Oh, that's nice, Dennis. I'm going for the first and maybe only interview tomorrow over video chat in one company, and then the second interview at another company, and I guess that the second one it's gonna be alright because it's gonna take something like 3 hours. And what's curious is that hello Kitty, is that half an hour of that interview is gonna be talking in English with the people from the company. As if they couldn't just go on YouTube and watch my videos, right? Wasting half an hour to do that. Meh. Yeah. I kinda agree, Chipmunk, that involving the space sector it might be problematic, but I think that as long as it's not dominant, I think that it can bring in some fresh ideas, some innovation. None of that too rigid NASA rubbish. Hi, Al. Nice to see you. Yeah, 3 hour interview. Oh, well, when I read some opinions about that workplace, it's more like they just have some pretty messed up interview procedures. Like, also heard that the company's staff and the management tends to be a little bit self-conceited, like suggesting that their way is the only way, or the best way there is. So, for someone like me, someone who can be brutally honest at times, and saying some incorrect opinions, then we might not like each other too much. Yeah, time investment for them too. Oh yeah, as long as the private sector bit is not run by one man, of course. I really think that Elon Musk is a dictatorial asshole. Just wants to have it all to himself and all the control, all the power, and shitloads of cash, of course. Talking politics, poly being many, and ticks are blood-sucking creatures. Yeah, it's mostly launch services. Well, even for personnel, like the Dragon launch to ISS for staff replacement. SpaceX has been doing it with success, but generally, what I see is that commercial launch services are mostly for payloads like satellites and that kind of stuff, and NASA launches would be for both, for high profile payloads like the James Webb Space Telescope, and for personnel. Biting your tongue is not a skill I possess. Well, if you're on the autistic spectrum, then it is pretty typical, I think. Yeah, Elon Musk is a spoiled brat, just like Donald Trump. And I agree that he should never be trusted. I was never fascinated with him either. Oh yeah, customer service sucks. Reminds me of the time in my life. It was rather short, but it was 1.5 year when I worked as at a technical support hotline. Oh, for crying out loud! A little bit too bright here. Gotta figure something out to adjust the brightness. Anyway, back to the topic. Sometimes, sometimes I had not so nice customers phoning in. By the way, I hate phone calls. That's one of the few things that I really hate with a passion is phone calls, especially incoming phone calls, especially from unknown numbers, or when you can't really expect them, or when you can't really talk on the phone because the environment is noisy, because there are people that would there are people who would annoy you, or you would annoy them by talking. Like like if I want to talk to someone on the phone, I need I need a good connection. a quiet space. I also have to think through what I'm gonna talk about. It's like playing a computer role-playing game and planning what dialogue options you choose. This I wonder how many autistic people also relate to that. I'm an only child and I'll set mom on you. Oh, NHS. National Hazard Service. Yeah, thanks, I called because of social anxiety, you fuckwits. And some other stuff worth mentioning. Fran was not talking about it. Wonder if she knows, wonder if she cares, but on Tuesday, maybe even Monday, the first and by now only Polish astronaut named Mirosław Hermaszewski died at 81. A very good age, I would say. And the guy was very dedicated to spreading knowledge, to talking about science, about astronautics, making the space more popular. I didn't really listen to him all that much, but he's a fucking legend in Poland. He he went up there into space in June 1978, and his flight was placed Poland as the fourth country in the world to have people in space. The first one would be the Soviet Union, the second one would be the US. The third one would be Czechoslovakia. Pretty interesting. But then the Soviets never managed to get to the moon, and they had a lot of pitfalls, like with the Energia N1 rockets. That stuff either blew up on the launch pad or soon thereafter, but they never got to the moon. Let alone they never managed to fly a person to the moon, though they had plans for the Łódź Korabel, the lunar vessel, somewhat smaller than the Apollo lunar lander. Smaller and more primitive. I wonder if it could even do any well on the moon. And those Energia N1 rockets, they failed to too many times. None of the payloads they were supposed to deliver into space ended up there. Okay, what's going on here? Oh yeah, just because you don't have the official diagnosis, it doesn't mean that you're not autistic. Good chances are that you might be, given the sensory overload situation. It's pretty common. It's pretty characteristic. That's the noise I was talking about. Anyway, yeah, the space race, it definitely was political. It was not just the space race between the states and the Union, but also within the space programs. There were lots of conflicts in the Soviet program. There was a lot of conflict and enmity, for example, as to what kind of an rocket engine to use on those rockets. One high up was in favor of using hydrogen, and the other one was it? I'm not sure if it was liquid hydrogen or something else, but definitely something not as toxic. Using hydrogen would be too risky for the crew. Marie Curie, she was Polish, of course, and I'm damn proud of her. Like the Polish woman in science, one of the pioneers who made it all the way to the top. Just everyone around the world, any country, Poland, the States, Australia, France, probably China, probably Russia. Everyone around heard about Marie Curie. A huge success. Dial cord on Bush TR-102. Interesting. What is that? Let me see. Okay, it's a radio. You mean dial cord not as an electric cable for dialing the phone, but as in the scale cable that drives the tuning capacitor, right? Not officially diagnosed with anything but old age. Just how old is old in your case? Yeah, Mars was next. The Soviets even placed a few probes on or around Mars. I even went through a book on Mars exploration, and there was a nice chart with dates and project names and outcomes with an indication that the mission was supposed to be orbiting or fly by or landing, and what happened to the spacecraft. Hi, Gary. They keep her lab journals in the vault. I wonder if Fran keeps hers in the vault, but not because they are radioactive, I guess. Yeah, 66 years old, working with radioactivity. She was a rat gal. Definitely a rat gal. Ah, less than 49. Wow. 49 ain't that old. By the way, Cindy is 49. And that would place you somewhere in between. I'm 36, Fran is something like 56 or 57. So 49, it would be closer to Fran, but still somewhere in the middle. I've got close friends who are 40. Not a problem with that. Work with so much radioactive crap you will die in days. Get run over by a horse in a cart. So I guess that cart accidents were around back then. Okay, about that Selectric-shaped elephant in the room. Like, gotta tell you a story about it. I was just, I was mighty inspired by the complexity of the device when I saw both. I think it started with Curious Mark. I saw his video on the repairs on his Selectric II. Also, I knew that Fran made a video about repairing hers. Even two videos, as it turned out. I watched them, and down the rabbit hole I was. I got myself a second-hand Selectric III on an online classified service. it was pretty cheap, but the advertisement said that it was in a good working order, but when I got it, it was really well packed, I have to admit it. But when I took it out of the box, when I unpacked it and made a video of it, of course, turned out that one of the key stamps was bent, but it's not as far as it goes. After taking off the enclosure, I noticed that a few parts were dislodged. Something was broken. Not a good sign. And I also noticed that a few mechanisms were just glued together with old grease that stopped lubricating and started gluing. I call it the gluebricant. And I took a deep dive looking for service manuals for the Selectric, found a few of course, and oh my goodness, it's so complex, it's just madness, it's just mechanical madness. And having experience working with monotype composition casters and being very proud of having worked on those machines, their complexity is almost infamous. The precision and the complexity, the design, the engineering, it's just fantastic. So it was for me. It was my kind of thing to work on this electric because it would recreate some of the experience I had with monotype. So I decided to get it back to work, and at the moment it's more failures than success. It happens. Today a carriage pulling cable got into some mechanism and broke down. I had to make a makeshift replacement for it. Being creative because spare parts are not available. You can't buy spare parts for the Selectric, at least here. So I have to make do with whatever I have and do it as well as I can. What's going on? Yeah, Curious Mark is he's definitely an inspiration for me. Like also working on the Semtron. I need to get back to the Semtron. Working on the Semtron, I am also inspired by Curious Mark to even take up that sort of a project, like getting into the old computer stuff. When I only can, I will get myself a Commodore C64, I think. Even though I didn't really have one when I was a kid. I think that my neighbors downstairs had a C64. We had a PC, IBM PC XT, the 5152 or something like that. And oh my goodness, I would love to have that. I'd love to have one for the nostalgia reasons. The first machine, the first computer I ever used. Of course, I used it for gaming. Like Prince of Persia was my favorite. I also played something like Sokoban, like Pac-Man, like Tetris, like Mahjong, like some racing games. For example, Test Drive and stunts and some Formula One. It was mostly my brother who was into that stuff, but I could also take a ride in front of the monitor. There was also a F-16 flight simulator. Of course, I didn't really know what it was all about. Like doing the mission and shooting down the targets. I didn't get it, I was just a small kid. And by the way, the teletype lubricant L, yeah, lubricant. The teletype, I would also love to get my hands on a teletype machine and use it as a terminal for Unix and Linux systems, like making an interface for UART or USB, and then getting the console on /dev/us tty USB 0 or something like that. Oh, hi, Satterwolf. Does it say something that I was never into gaming but loved coding? Yeah, you're a nerd. You're a real deal nerd. And we like your kind around here. Welcome aboard. Well, I was a PC gamer and still sometimes am in the 90s. I was never the kind of a gamer who bought as many games as you could, because you know, the budget is tight. It's always tight. You don't always afford those things, but sometimes I bought myself an issue of a Polish magazine named CD Action. They always had a CD with some demos, some stuff, some software, and at some point they also enclosed a full version of some game, like Fallout 1 and Fallout 2 in my collection. They come from CD Action. Uh, Rhyme unintended. Oh, Chipmunk, I missed you. Just like I missed Woofle. Of course, I was chewing rags and chewing rags and chewing rags and didn't even notice when it was midnight. So I missed the Woofle. Officially became a redneck. Why? Because you fixed the tumble dryer with duct tape. Yeah, back then computers were mighty expensive, and I think that we got ours in very early 1990s. Probably with some help from my aunt, who worked at a university, and they were changing some computers, some equipment. So I guess that they were selling off a few older units, because they were probably obsolete by then. Yeah, I will have to make the woofer timer, probably. Oh, one moment please. Should I make it with Nixie tubes? Should I make it with a vacuum fluorescent display? Or should I use a different display technology? Mechanical timer? This is where things are getting interesting. Coupled to the knob on the front panel with two U-joints, because someone misaligned it in the design. So much for German engineering! Yeah, yeah! Yeah, DOS 3.2. That IBM XT, it was something like DOS 3.1, I think. Like MS-DOS, not GLaDOS. Yeah. Neon lamps in a binary layout. That would be cool. That would be cool as well. Is it a botch or a Bosch? Siemens. Well, household appliances, Siemens and Bosch, it's basically the same company. BSH. Bosch Siemens Haushaltsgeräte. And yeah, that also from my servicing experience, I sometimes repaired Siemens and Bosch dishwashers, and the way the way they were built was very similar between those two brands. So basically, it's pretty much the same. Same thing about some Chinese soldering equipment. Like if you have a cheap soldering station or hot air station, there are a few brands like OUI or WEP or Yihua. If you take a look at their products, even the model names or numbers are the same between them, like 936. It's just the logo that is different, but the gear it's the same. 300,000 woofers. 300,000 meters per second. No, was it meters? No, it was kilometers. 20 millimeter ID. Ah, internal diameter. I was thinking in the lines of identifications, and I was like, what? Yeah, 30 turns of duct tape. Oh, really? Bosch speakers. That's interesting. I think that the only Bosch speakers I ever saw was for the public address equipment, like the sound systems you have in supermarkets, in train stations, that kind of a thing. But not the hi-fi equipment. Of course, I would make a big Clive reference, Eduardo. What would you expect anyway? Yeah, here in Poland, in Europe, Bosch are known both for household appliances and for power tools. Also, to some extent, for automotive parts, like the generators for cars, Bosch made them. Yeah, it was Coco again. Fortunately, behaving well. Yeah, Blaupunkt, I also know the brand. I have a Blaupunkt TV I got from my friend for free that was damaged, and it didn't wanna work. Replaced all the electrolytic caps and still Kamagatsar. Then I got a hold of an EEPROM chip and programmed it with some help from my friend Alana, and after putting it into the circuit, the thing started to work. So it's no longer Kamagatsar, it's winner winner chicken dinner. Yeah, of course, I've been watching EV blog longer than you would ever think. Of course I watch EV blog. Yeah, of course. It's the British Brainwashing Corporation. Meow! Oh, I think that Kitty is getting somewhat upset. Yeah, watching EV blogs since the garage days. Well, I wouldn't say this about myself. I think I started watching EV blog after I found Fran again. Would be something like over a year ago. So I'm no new to EV blog, but I'm not that much of a veteran. Yeah. Recently I watched Chrysaper attempt of repairing the Bryman 786 multimeter. Wonder what's going on with it. Like some problem with the power power control circuitry. If I have Fran's ear, I think I might tell her. I might tell her. It's just that she notices that her work and her content isn't appreciated as much as she thinks it should, and I agree with her because she's putting a lot of work. I have I have no reason to disbelieve what she says about all the work she has to put into running her channel. Like it's not just creative work, doing projects, making videos, editing, posting them, all that kind of stuff, but it's mostly administrivia and both administrivia and housekeeping on the channel. Like getting rid of all that spam and shitstorm, and it gets to her. Though I try to be with her and help with moderating, but also whenever I do a run on the videos, looking at the comments that appeared, looks like she's been there already and got rid of the trash. Nothing else to do for me. Yeah, worrying about the intelligence of Australia. He had to have his mate do the Cat 5 patching for legal reasons. Oh yeah, I saw that video. Bloody hell. It's so bad. I guess that not even Germany has such strict rules. By the way, I'm a licensed electrician, so I can legally do the electrical wiring stuff for people, but truth be told, I did electrical wiring for years, maybe even decades, before I got my license. Yeah, I also noticed that that Fern got better, but I guess that burnout is getting to her again. I feel a little bit better after my burnout. Like you know, that burnout that got to me soon before I posted the poll on the community section. By the way, maybe someone answered in that poll. I'll take a look, see what's going on down there. Kitty, stop biting me, please. Yeah, recombobulate this? Not a problem. Turns out to be more of a problem than I thought. But, Mr. Clinton! Mr. Clinton! Do you want to be a president of the United States, Mr. Clinton? Meow! Please, kitty. What's going on with you? Cat! Please! No, you go off! You go off! Guess he's on a strike. What's going on with you, cat? What got to you? What are you feeling? Should I offer you a therapy session? Oh, that poll ended with 20 votes in it. 70% was encouraging me to keep up doing those videos. One vote, 5% would be to move on to creating in Polish. I guess that would be a Polish fan of mine. And 25% would be messaging some creators directly. I would still have to try that. Kitty. 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 Meow. Meow. What's going on with you, kitty? Oh, please, for crying out loud. That's weird. He's been like this for the last couple of weeks. Like, all of a sudden, he starts attacking me. He knows me, he loves me, but it's like Jekyll and Hyde. Okay, time out for the kitty. Time out for the kitty. Yeah, let's look what's going on here. Yeah, Fran is a sensitive person, and I know that, can relate to that all too well. Like, she's way tougher than me. I'm very soft and sensitive. She's been through a lot harder times than me. But then even the strongest people are not can't be strong all the time. Sooner or later it gets to you. Yeah, both dishwashers. Both dishwashers. 7 or 8 chrome termination tools. Nice. Oh, Morris. I think that Elon should step down as an inhabitant of Earth. Fuck off, dickweed. Oh, for crying out loud, kill a cat. Oh, it worked on that bot answered to you. Once I did whack-a-mole on quite a good bunch of those bots. But I guess that Fran is mostly doing the whack-a-mole job with them. Maybe I should go over to her channel and do a moderation run, see what happened, and oh, some battle made a new video. Flip.etch-a-sketch. And yeah, a bunch of interesting videos for sure, but no time to watch them now. Let's go over to Fran and see what's with the comments. As long as my laptop doesn't hang up. $400 kV terminations. I have a snake on the floor. Maybe it's a Goa'uld symbiote. Cancel the show and throw human in the trash. Coco is neutered, but not on HRT. Navy electricians should not be allowed to wire their own houses? How come? €2,000? What the fuck? Bloody hell! Go to Poland. Get a course for something like, I guess, 1,000 zloty. That would be 250 euros. Then get the exam for 500 zloty. My rough estimate. Not sure how things are now, but that would be 125. And as long as Poland and Germany are in the European Union, this certificate will be honored in other EU countries. If it doesn't leak excessive current to earth and passes a 500 volt test, they had to connect. What about the short circuit loop impedance? Like, at least here in Poland, the short circuit loop impedance is basically the impedance of the current source. If you have a short circuit in your wiring, then all the wiring that powers it, the transformer, all that stuff, it has to have impedance low enough to make it capable of supplying the current that would trip the breaker or blow a fuse. Otherwise, if this short circuit loop impedance is too high, then you would have to go with a smaller current fuse, because if you try to use a beefier fuse, it would not blow in if short circuit happened. Yeah, politics and society. Poly being many and ticks are blood-sucking creatures. That's what I have to say about it. Musk isn't entirely evil, just inept. Well, Musk is kinda like Whitley in Portal 2. Maybe not that stupid, but... Looks like more simultaneous viewers. I've got 11 on my channel now. Wire your hands and burn it down with the lemons. Yeah, it is a money-making scam. if those exams were for some lower fee that would be affordable to anyone who genuinely wants to learn and already has some knowledge either from a course or from their own studying of electrical engineering, then as long as you have the knowledge, you should be able to pass and get the paper, right? It shouldn't be like commercial. The entry barrier shouldn't be financial. It should be meritoric. It should be about the knowledge, and I agree that since electrical wiring dealing with voltages of 400 volts, dealing with currents up to even hundreds of amperes, it is a risky. It is a risky thing. You can you risk electric shock. You risk fire. You have to have the knowledge to do it well. And I would agree on those exams being actually of higher level of challenge, like like if you go to an exam, then it should reduce the chance of someone who doesn't know shit about electricity slipping through, because that's what those exams should be. But then it's just buying papers for money and no real verification of knowledge, and that's fucked up. Half a millimeter wires on 6 ampere circuits. 6 amperes, not that much. Yeah, then the fault current could be very low because of the short circuit loop impedance. Oh, Elon Musk's family participated in apartheid. Of course, worker exploitation. He's a fucking asshole in that regard. No, Chipmunk, you didn't have to measure the PFC before? Because at least in here it was mandatory to do the measurements since the 1990s or even 80s. And by the law, all the buildings have to be checked as far as the wiring goes every 5 years, and sometimes even more often for some more special cases. But general residential wiring has to be checked every 5 years. But then it's not really checked as thoroughly as it should. Like for me, a good check would be just controlling the connections in the junction boxes, controlling the sockets, getting into the electrical panel to see if it's wired correctly, doing the measurements, and from what I experienced, every time an electrician was visiting our flat for those scheduled measurements, he just used a wiring tester like the Metral or Megger or Sonal or whatnot, plugged it into a socket with a protective earth contact in the kitchen, checked it, then plugged it into the socket in the bathroom and checked it, and that's that. Just the two sockets. None of that looking into the electrical panel rubbish, and yeah, I would say it's an absolutely garbage way of doing electrical measurements, and it's just about having a signature in the papers and not about determining whether there's something wrong with the wiring. It's 1:18. Waffle time is coming. Cowboys. In the Polish electricians community, those types are often named bakers, like like they will bake the wiring. Wow, 1.5 megavolt ampere. That's nice. Yeah, 600 kVA, pretty regular for a transformer. One and a half MVI. That's something I would expect in industrial settings more than regular, like commercial or residential settings. Yeah, for domestic stuff, mostly in apartment blocks, because that's where you get you just have the high density of power used per square meter or acre, or a unit of surface area of ground surface area like if you have condos, then you have to build stations close to them, not just because all of that draws a lot of power, but also for economic reasons, like voltage drops on the low voltage side. Different countries indeed. That's also a thing about electrical engineering. Watching electrical engineering channels from abroad and seeing how things are done in different countries, like even in the Netherlands, which is still continental Europe, let alone the UK, the US, Canada, Australia. That's the... I personally, I don't really get the American wiring system with that. What was the name for that? Long leg delta or something like that. Anyway, they use split fives, double 120 volts. That is 240 across the phases, and the 240 is used for powerful appliances like water heaters, like machines, compressors, workshop stuff, all that kind of devices. Hello, Kitty. Are you gonna annoy me again? Anyway, yeah, I was also thinking about the American wiring and the audiophile stuff, because since the domestic power is split phase, that means that it's just center tapped. It's just ground on the center tap, and one line is at any time positive to the ground, the other line is negative to the ground, and it forms sort of a differential pair. Any common mode noise signals getting into that line cancel out on the input of an amplifier or something or some other audio device. And that means that it might, I'm not sure, but it might be more favorable to run the good grade audio equipment from 200 volts across the phases in the US than from 120, but most of the American gear is wired for 120 with no possibility of switching the voltage. I'd like to see some research into that kind of stuff. It's pretty interesting to me. Although I'm definitely not the kind of person who hears and believes in the differences between cables, and I'm also quite skeptical about the whole power conditioner thing. Like most of the time it's just a scam. It's just duping the audio files into putting out money into the devices that they think they make a difference on the sound, but they really don't. If you look at the TechMoan videos debunking the CD shaving or painting, if you look at how he's debunking it, it's so simple and beautiful how he does it. Like first he rips the unmodified CD into a computer, into audio, into sound files. Then he modifies the CD, like shaving the edge or using some magic felt tip pen, that kind of rubbish. And after he does the modification, he rips the new CD and then puts the files together, inverting one in phase, and since basically what he's doing is subtracting one signal from another, if there are any differences, they would be visible in the waveforms, but there are none. Straight beginning to end, there are no differences. Fucking flat line. Debunked. That's the way you do it. That's how you compare the effects before and after modifying the audio carrier. And I just can't find a simpler and more beautiful way of showing that all those strange inventions, all those gimmicks, all those gizmos that costs a lot of thousands of bucks, they do nothing to the sound apart from doing a thing to how you perceive the sound, because this is where the difference is. It's all subjective, it's all psychoacoustics, it's all self-suggestion. That's also why A/B blind tests are done. If you have, for example, two cables or two amplifiers, and you want to compare them, test them, then you do a blind test, and even better, a double blind test. A blind test is about just the test subject, the listener, not knowing what device they are currently listening to. And the double blind test is about not only the test subject, but also the person who conducts the experiment not knowing what's currently played, and that is because because if you if you conduct the test, if you conduct the experiment and you know what's being tested, you can still suggest it to the test subject with some subtle signals, with body language, that kind of stuff. And if you don't know what's being tested, you can't. It doesn't shape what you think, what you feel at the moment, and then you can't give it off to the others. Yeah. One moment, please. Let's read the chat. Yeah. 86 kilowatt hours per day. What the fuck was he doing anyway? Aha. 208 volts to ground, high lag. Center tab. Transformers in delta. Yeah, Edison. That kind of dispute. By the way, if you want to know some fun stuff about Edison, about Tesla, about Westinghouse, go over to the channel named Kathy Loves Physics and History. There's tons of good science stuff, all the curiosities. I'll post the link real soon. Well, where is that stream? Where did I lose it?
Not a patrons, thanks, Ian, and blah blah blah.
Oh, what the hell? Why did I just fire Fran and...
Actually, over.
Fran! Where are you? Fran! Where are you? Stupid. Ah, here is the... It was just a video about the other Fran channel. Because I... started... Oh, it's 1:34, okay. God damn it, I almost forgot about this one. Oh, get another one because we missed one. Pretty uneventful, but still okay-ish. Yeah, newest comments first. 6 days ago. Yeah, I did that one. Coffee loves physics and history. Oh, come on. Where's my stream? Here it is, okay. Yeah, if you look up the word gullible in the dictionary, you get a picture of an audio file. True. That's more true than your regular true. Yeah, pretty clever to cancel the two audios. It's been done in studio wiring and professional audio with all the balanced signal connections. It's been done for decades. Audio Wanksteins. Doesn't roll off the tongue. Didn't think Techmon would be that clever. Ooh. About what? Yeah, the grid is aluminum. Like, Silent Green is made of people. It's made of people! And Power Grid is made of aluminum. In Poland, we have regulations that allow using aluminum only for the wiring thicker than 16 square millimeters. Below that, you only are allowed to use copper now. Back in the 60s, 70s, 80s, even 90s, aluminum wiring was pretty common, and there's a lot of this shit still going on in the wiring in older buildings, but since the 90s, first you can't use aluminum unless we're talking about the utility domain, where you've got larger cross-section area on the wires. Second, you have to do the wiring with a protective earth wire, and then you have to use the residual current device. Psychoacoustics is gonna be my ambient industrial album name. You know how I am into industrial music, right? By the way, I've been listening to the CDs that I borrowed from a guy I was acquaintances with back in 2000s. Got around 2007 I borrowed a lot of CDs from him and copied them, like Front 242. What do we have? Deutsch Nepal, Nitzarab, Raison d'être. I absolutely love Raison d'être. The dark ambient from the label named Cold Meat Industry. I have a thing for that label. like raison d'être, like desideri marginis. Arthur Rosarium's Equilibria was with them, I think, although I'm not all that sure. Yeah, I've been doing the whole dark alternative music thing since 2007 and never stopped. It's a large part of who I am. Got a lot of swans, but I don't really listen to them all that much. I really need to get back to listening to swans. Got a lot of Laibach. I absolutely love Laibach, especially the 80s and 90s stuff. Maybe I even have some Einstürzende Neubauten in my collection here. Nah, no Einstürzende Neubauten for ya. Oh! Hi Bob, nice to see you here. Noticed only now. Bottled water claims. Interesting. By the way, I think I stopped buying bottled water in 2014. Moved on to drinking tap water because it was way cheaper than any kind of bottled water. And both in my old city in Łódź and here in Gdańsk, we've got excellent quality tap water. I can just drink it right away with no filtering, all that crap. Back then in Łódź, I also did. It's like some people telling me that drinking tap water is unhealthy and all that kind of stuff. Doing fine. I'm doing fine drinking tap water. But it all depends on where you live, how the water purification is done. Is it done by chlorinating or is it done by ozonating or some other methods I don't know? And of course the condition of both the mains pipes around in the street and the plumbing in the building. Yeah. Gary, you nailed it. That the audiophiles have to convince themselves they can hear a different difference after spending megabucks. That's true. Oh, Chipmunk. Techmon does the audio stuff, but I never really noticed that he would go into the mumbo-jumbo territory. Then the materials, then the reviews he does, to me, they come across as sensible, as pretty objective. None of that butt-licking rubbish that you might find if you're watching a video review of a product sponsored by the manufacturer of the product, because that's not gonna be objective. What company would send you their product to have it scolded? They want promotion, and if some reviewer or some YouTuber doing reviews, if they can expect not getting all positive reviews, then they will just not ask for the review. Severe trolling tendencies. Who? Tech mode? Oh, come on, Chipmunk. Dennis, I guess that her channel is very good. You meant it about coffee. Yeah. Yeah, Bob, you did hear Fran, because I just accidentally fired a video in another tab. Yeah, making Clive look time. I guess Clive is getting a little bit old. And I still have that rebel energy in me. I'm in my 30s, but I still have that punkish rebel energy. I'd be riding a motorcycle if I was any richer to afford it. Or is it the midlife crisis hitting me? Yeah, coffee is awesome. Damn awesome. Silent Pink is made from Peppa Pig. Yeah, let's do a golf club. To the Batcave. There was a golf club where almost all of it started in London. In Soho, there was a club named the Batcave. They formed by the musicians of a band named Specimen, like Only Wisdom, Johnny Slat, and some others. They did parties, they did concerts. A legendary place. Hasn't been around for decades, but that's what made the London goth scene. Like bands like Joy Division, like Susie and the Banshees, like Bauhaus, went there, gave gigs. People were hanging out with each other. Then I guess something like Red Lorry, Yellow Lorry, the Sisters of Mercy. The birthday party, of course, Nick Cave. Lots of old music. Chipmunk, I am into meatloaf. Would do anything for love. I haven't listened to that one for a long time. By the way, that was also the stuff that I watched on the MTV in the 90s. Meatloaf, I remember Depeche Mode. I think I saw the sisters on the MTV. Some Prince, definitely Prince. There are a few bands that I saw on the MTV, then forgot about for a long time, and reminded myself about them pretty recently, like Shakespeare's Sister. You have to see the music video for Stay. Let me give you a link. Let's move the tab so that I don't forget where it was. Stay official video. And yeah. Go get one. Never listen to swans, they lie. Oh, what you're saying about neo-folk, it's very controversial scene. A lot of it is fascist, like Death in June, for example. I don't like them, but for example, Guy Borg and the Church of Fand, some other bands and projects, they can be pretty much anti-fascist. At some point, I even stumbled across a website promoting anti-fascist, anti-racist neo-folk music. Wonder if I can find it again. Wardrona is anti-fascist. I love them. Gotta... Here, grab another one. Come on, tourists lie that the tap water isn't safe. I guess it's because of the bottled water companies wouldn't have the market for their products. Same scam as the climate change denialism by the oil companies in the 1980s or 90s. Like they had, like Exxon Mobil had scientists who clearly showed that anthropogenic climate change is a thing, but it was it was just not convenient to the company and their business, so that just swept it all in under the rug. NASA stuff is boring. Electron launch just scrubbed. That's a pity. Yeah. Techmoan is more technical than he gives himself credit for. I'd love him do some real deal electronic engineering project. Cheap Audio Man. I don't recall that one. Gotta check out what he does. And the self-deprecating thing, I think it's pretty toxic. For me, it's important to be honest. If you don't know something, then just fucking admit that you don't know it. Don't be pretentious. Don't pose as someone who knows it all. But then try to know your worth. Try to have enough self-confidence not to be self-conceited, but also not to go into that whole self-deprecation stuff, because it gets to your subconscious mind. It fucks with your self-esteem. It's toxic. Yeah, Bela Lugosi's dead. Undead. The virginal bride's file past his tomb, strewn with time's dead flowers, bereft in deathly bloom. One of the few lyrics that I actually memorized. Yeah, Beavis and Butthead. A butthead indeed. On the other hand, I loved the spin-off of the series, Daria. Daria Morgendorfer. I wonder if Fran likes the series, if she knows it. But oh my goodness, Daria, both the show and the characters, both Daria, Lane, Trent, yeah, I just love how cynical, kinda laid back, kinda punkish they are. none of that overtly politically correct rubbish. Okay, what's going on? Jacob and a ghost, hi. Nice to see you. Yeah, Morris, I was born in 1986. Soon after the space shuttle crash. Well, not that soon after, because I was born on 2nd of April. So, less time until the Chernobyl disaster than since the space shuttle crash. And Artemis is it's mighty exciting. I started being a space nerd a year ago when the James Webb Space Telescope was being launched. Also, joined the club also thanks to Fran. She got me into so many things that I can't even mention them all. Both now and way back when in 2000s or 2010s. Yeah, Gary, you remember the moon landings, that's why you can't just deny them, right? I don't... I never... I never get those anti-scientific rubbish, all that moon landing denialism and all that flat earth stuff, all that COVID denialism and anti-vax thing. Like how the fuck can you even do it despite all the evidence that's just hitting you in the head? Strange sounds. Is it the cat? Probably not. Yeah, Daria was so fucking epic. Yeah, they used to call you Daria. That's nice. By the way, I also loved the old Addams Family and the black and white stuff. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. And of course I love Stargate SG-1. Now, what's going on? TV in the 6th form room. Yeah, good MTV back then. MTV, it really started in the 90s here, after the fall of communism and Poland opening itself to the West. Yeah. Also, doing what they did 50 years ago. It's also because the economy has changed. Right now, it's much cheaper to do electronics in mass quantities. Back then, electronics was expensive and complicated. That's why so much stuff was based on mechanical engineering, like all those automation parts, all those electromechanical relays. Now you would just use a normal relay with a timer circuit like some 555 or something like that. Back then, what Fran pulled out from the vault, a clever relay that had a rotating element that was actuated with a coil. It latched and cycled through two positions, on, off, on, off, on, off, every time you pulsed it. Now, just use a trigger circuit, just use a 555, no problem. You can do it with electronics way cheaper than you can do it now with mechanical parts. Back then it was the completely opposite way. And yeah, chipmunk. That moon landing comment made my day. And it's also, I think it's also about the hazardous materials back then and now. Like now, if you can't even get a hold of nitric acid in the UK because of some bullshit regulations that deem you a terrorist if you buy that, so the substance is very restricted. It shouldn't affect businesses, but yeah, back in my times when I was a teen, getting chemicals, getting reagents for doing my experiments in chemistry, it was pretty much not too much of a problem. There were some limitations, but nothing as bad as we have now. And other materials like asbestos, you won't find it anymore. Yeah, Concord, way too loud. Way too loud to be allowed. Some bastard would do it with a bloody Arduino. Well, it was also I think that that Fran was once talking about the way we do electronics now. and the way electronics was done in the 70s, 80s, 90s. Back then you built devices from ground up from those transistors. Maybe integrated circuits if you have something complex to build. Digital integrated circuits like the CMOS, like the TTL, and that's how you learn the stuff, because you have to put some thought into designing the logic structure of the device, all the signal flow, all the structure of control, the gates, the latches, triggers, all that stuff. And now you do it all in the code, in the software, and there's hardly anything left to do in the hardware, in electronics. Oh, Mike, you are right that the latching relay has the advantage of zero current. That's also a valid point for many applications. Can you get Raspberry Pis? All I want for Christmas is a box of Raspberry Pis. Yeah, hate solid state anything. Use advanced solid state technology instead. I agree. If it's software, it's not electronics. Yeah, great for kids. Oh yeah, Chipmunk, I have a cold. And as my throat gets dry, it gets a little bit worse. I try to remember about taking a sip every now and then. It's only because I'm talking for so long, chewing rags about stuff. And as for the rag chewing part, maybe let's get to the bench finally to show you the Selectric. Gotta fire the chat on my bench-side laptop. The door to the bedroom is closed, but my queer friends are having sex at the moment. Let's open the control panel. I really think I should be doing this. Oh. What's going on anyway? Why am I logged out on the browser there? Maybe I fired up the long-term support browser rather than the regular testing one that I use. So firing up YouTube in my browser. And trying to keep up with the chat. Avoid like plague. Avoid like COVID-19. Hope it's not COVID because my sense of smell and taste is okay. I think it's just a regular cold. ESP32 based 201 kits. Oh yeah, that would be cool. That would be a cool one. That's an idea for a Lanco. FPGAs are deep magic because any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic, like Arthur C. Clarke said. One of my favorite quotes ever. That's why I am the vacuum tube witch. Too nerdy from him. For him. Okay. Anyway, this is what the stream was going to be about. The IBM Selectric III. I'm having more problems with this machine than I thought. Then the nylon cable broke down on me today. I had to replace it with a steel one, and I freed this mechanism. Let's zoom on in. When I unscrewed, I grabbed screw on this spool and cog. I all of a sudden a spring released, and I had mighty discombobulation with the cable on the other side of the carriage. Can I move it? To some extent I can. Escapement working. But this is as far as it goes. Won't be using any more force than I need to. it's just so complex. It's so beautifully complex. A lot of parts of this machine, they were so sticky with old grease that I couldn't even move them. Like if we put on the cassette. I recompilate this part. This is the correcting type that should go in. First I need to pull this lever back. Why am I putting it upside down? That's the way you do it. And then it goes through here. Guess there is a pole somewhere on the spool. And then the correcting type pulling this one on this side. Oh, it's not meant to go under but over. Look at them yo-yos. That's the way you do it. Play the guitar on the MTV. And then the cassette. In order to put on the cassette, you have to replace the... Oh. One thing I did wrong was putting this one under. That's how you do it. Pulling back the lever for cassette release. Putting the cassette on the typewriter, and the lever is back. Works pretty nicely. But the typewriter, when I got it, even the typing element, the golf ball, like they call it, this is the typing element. You can get them in different typefaces. There were 2 or maybe even more versions with different sets of characters. This one is 1996 character. The earlier versions were 72 or something like that. And I couldn't even lift the typing element because this was so sticky. It was just impossible to lift the golf ball without without pushing against the rod it is sitting on. And I could only remove it. I could only remove it using some metal part to have something to press against and use the force. Also, then the thing about the cassette mechanism, this lever, see, it should move freely. And guess what? It was glued to the plate with old, very sticky grease, the lubricant. And when I tried to move it, I didn't even know it has to go all the way towards here, because I had to use so much force on it that I was afraid to break anything. Also, this part, it is used for winding the tape on the right spool, on the take-up spool. It didn't want to move to the left at all, and am I doing it right, by the way? Because I see that something is... yeah, now it should be okay. And now it springs back into place as it should, but then it was just glued with the old grease. Didn't want to move at all. What I'm having the problem with is spacebar not working. Some parts not being released, sticking not being released, and also the keyboard itself not not doing anything. I can only press the key down a teeny tiny bit, but it doesn't want to go down all the way it should. So there will be a lot of things to figure out about the Selectric, but my goal is to repair it and have a working typewriter, because those typewriters are definitely a thing of beauty and a joy forever. If anything is, next to IBM Selectric, then it will be the monotype composition caster and keyboard. Reading the chat. Real keyboard all the way. Embroidery camps. Interesting. By the way, I would love to learn sewing with a sewing machine. Lots of things that I would love to learn and do. As for WD-40, I use it for cleaning, for removing the old residue, the lubricant, like I call it. I never use WD-40 for lubrication. It's not meant for that. And I also use Vaseline whenever I need something more viscous for some delicate joints. I use machine oil, and anywhere where I would need grease, I will use Vaseline. Oh, it's 2:30, which means, yeah, you know it. You know it. You know it and you love it. Oh yeah. The naughtiest woofers on the electronics YouTube. I wonder what would happen if Clive saw me. Maybe it would be a nice idea to ask Clive to do a joint stream, and then all of a sudden, when I waffle and he sees that. Oh, Gary, take care. Nice seeing you. You better tell IEEE that then, because they have a different history documented. I bet that would be the France thing. Try flow. Interesting. Wonder if I can get it in my country. Oh. Tri-Flow superior lubricant. Penetrates and protects. Formulated with PTFE. Interesting. Yeah, Teflon is a good thing. Looks like I haven't even gone through my coffee. Several spray cans. Nice. Wonder if I could use Tri-Flow on bicycle chains. Woofer brake. Yeah. By the way, a little tech tip from me. If you have to get into a small space with difficult access, then you just use a syringe and fill it with some light oil and maneuver the needle where you need it. Yeah, cheaper Teflon lubes. At some point I used the Finish Line lubricant, and now I think I've got some different chain oil. By the way, I don't even remember when I last did maintenance on my bikes. Yeah, it's not in this drawer, then I guess I have it stashed in the vault. My basement, I could call it a vault because it was an old fallout shelter. You know, all of you who have played Fallout, you know the thing about the vault. Yeah, sweet tip. Very easy to do for someone like me. Since since I take hormone injections, I've got plenty of syringes and needles around. I just use spent needles for technical purposes. Spent needles and either spent syringes, though not all that much because the syringes I use for hormone shots and they are 2 milliliter, and for oil and all that kind of stuff. I'd rather go with 5 millimeter or 5 milliliter or even 10. No, I don't live in an old Fallout shelter, but the basement in my tenement house was an old Fallout shelter, and I've got some space in it. I've got a cell, and I call it the vault. I keep some of my renovation stuff and bike parts and tools for working with bikes down there, because it's just a lot closer to the outside. I live and have my lab on the 5th floor, so there's a lot of stairs to go. All this equipment, all the stuff, the test gear, the project stuff, I had to carry it up the stairs. Was a lot of work. Sometimes I'm wondering where exactly Fran has her lab, like is it the ground floor or somewhere higher? Does she have an elevator there, or what? Same with Dave Jones. Paul Carson has his lab in standalone buildings, so that's not a problem from him. But having to walk up the stairs carrying tens of kilos of stuff, it's not fun. Yeah, the vault. And since there's a number on the door, it's 94, so here I've got Vault 94. But I gotta tell you that if you're looking for a water chip, it's not there. Garden of Eden Creation Kit? Also not there. Yeah, Dennis, see you later. Nice seeing you. Yeah, that's that. And by the way, still in the whole Selectric thing, I I stumbled across a YouTube channel named Phoenix Typewriters. The a channel of a company who does office equipment repairs. They have a mighty lot of experience in repairing and adjusting the Selectric. I subscribed to that channel and left some comments today. Because their repair videos are quite in-depth and they were very useful for me in my journey with my Selectric. And yeah, I'll post you the link in case you're interested. Yeah, my machine is a Selectric III. Most of the Selectric typewriters I've been seeing on YouTube were Model 2. Mark has Selectric 2. Fran has Selectric 2. I think I might at some point I might get myself a Selectric 1, not because of its features, because from what I know it's a non-correcting machine. The correcting function was introduced in Selectric 2, if I remember correctly. But Selectric 1, with its pretty characteristic rounded case, rounded keyboard, looks just so damn lovely, design-wise, aesthetics-wise. Like the Selectric 2 and 3. 2 looks slightly nicer than 3 because the shape of the keycaps is still pretty round. Nice to look at. Then the case for Selectric 3, it's a little bit edgy and very 70s style. It's how this thing looks now. I prefer smooth round edges, none of that sharp angly rubbish. There's a lot of sticky spongy residue that I will be removing, and since this spongy thing is mostly there for dampening and silencing the typewriter so that it was a little bit more bearable in office settings, I don't really need that. Being a single user of a typewriter that I don't intend to use all that often, mostly for some artistic projects in graphics, I don't have to care about soundproofing the machine anymore. I will put some pretty heavy cloth or something like that on the bottom of the machine so that oil can drip on it and that I can replace it when I need it. Autocorrect, Eduardo. No. None of that autocorrect rubbish. From my experience, all autocorrect is always too eager to change what you type if you don't want to change it. Cloths dryer misbehaving. Yeah, those foam insulators, they are deteriorated so badly that I will be getting rid of all of them. the sticky spongy thing. It's absolutely nasty. And when I say something is nasty, then it is nasty. It has autocorrect, but only if there's a dictionary nearby. Made my day. And of course, if there is a if there's a neurobiological interface, because without one, the autocorrect feature won't work at all. Okay, it's almost 3 a.m. now here. And it will be time to wrap it up. I'll be working on the Selectric for the upcoming days or weeks. Trying to recombobulate what got discombobulated with the machine. Probably will have some setbacks along the way, but I would absolutely love to get the machine back up and running again. Maybe type something nice with it, like some poem or some letter. You know what I'm up to. You certainly do. Yeah, this biological interface is absent sometimes. Unfortunately, as years go by, it's more and more absent. Like, there's more and more people, but less and less human. Sometimes my brain is like a cat on the keyboard. Random sequences of numbers and characters. Yeah, cats on keyboards. I know that stuff all too well. Yeah, it's gonna be time to wrap it up. It was fun hanging out with you. Looks like there were more people than usual today. At the highest was 14 people in the stream. You're welcome, Mouse. Oscar Killer Oscar. Killer Oscar Killer Oscar. No, it was Kilo. By the way, Coco weighs something like 8 kilos. A heavyweight challenger. Deaf cat. Yeah, Chipmunk, I can see that it's late for you. It's almost 2 a.m. in the UK. Here it's almost 3. Such a chunker, yeah. Hi, Andy. What were you working on? Cockabiter, yeah. Normally this cat is so lazy that even if he had a mouse right under his nose, he wouldn't go for it. Okay. Stainless steel nuts. Interesting. Are you turning them on a lathe? Cat mouse hybrid. Yeah, Chipmunk. I guess that's the case. Okay. Awkward moment.